welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming such an exciting video. I just got a package in from Unearthly Cosmetics, so if you want to see what I got, see some swatches, see some eye looks, hear some first impression thoughts, then just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I like to post pretty much every day. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post, and without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited because I just got this beautiful box in the mail from Unearthly Cosmetics. They just got this new shipping box, so I wanted to show it off to you guys. And the owner so kindly sent me 2 new products from the brand, so I had to show it to you guys. Now, I am a Unearthly affiliate, so you can use my code KHMAKEUP to save 10%, I believe, on the Unearthly website. So this is the first thing they sent me. It's their beautiful magnetic palette, and I'm going to use this to store my Unearthly blushes. I haven't put them in here yet, but look at this beautiful palette. It is so cool and edgy, so I love that. And then she also sent me one of their newest palettes. It is the Leather and Lace palette. Now, this is what the palette looks like. It's nice and weighted, and it has those big pans that we love from Unearthly. I did go ahead and film swatches, so I will throw those up for you guys, but this palette did swatch so nicely. I believe Unearthly is calling this their version of a neutral palette, and I could totally see that being the case. This is so gorgeous, you guys. This color story is everything. So I wanted to go ahead and film a look with this palette, so let's go ahead and get into that now. Okay, so I'm debating doing like an eye look on each because this is such a pretty palette. The grungy greens are definitely calling to me, and so are these beautiful mauves. So I think I'm going to do 2 eye looks just to show you guys how much you can develop this palette and create some really fun looks with it. So I'm just grabbing a Sigma brush. This is a E25 Max, and I'm going to start off with the shade Vintage, which is the pretty green color. You guys know there's no way I can say no to this shade, so I'm going to start off by putting that on the inner corner and just blending it outward. I do have my Juvia's Place eyeshadow primer on, so just gonna go ahead and blend that. Wow, that is so pigmented. Now I'm going to go into the next shade, which is called Olive. It's the next green. It's a little bit darker. I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'm just going to blend on the outer corner and bring it about halfway. Ooh, love! Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Leather, which is the black. Okay, that black blended beautifully. So now let's use the shade Chantilly as the lid color. It's like a beautiful yellow gold, and I think it's gonna foil so nicely onto the lid. So I picked up a bunch of product. I'm gonna give it a little spray with my Mario Badescu, and we're gonna put it on. It has a bit of a duochrome effect. I can see a little bit of a like a pink almost flip to it, which I think works really nicely with the colors in this eyeshadow palette. Wow, that is so freaking pretty. I'm just going to grab the brush that I used for the crease just to help blend. And I want to take up a little bit more of the sparkly shadow and build that up and help blend. And yeah, it's simple, but just a really pretty grungy green eye look, in my humble opinion. And I'm going to use the new Hourglass eye pencil I have. This is from the Voyager eyeliner pencil collection, and I have the shade Forest. And I'm just going to use that to line the waterline. Such a pretty grungy green eyeliner. And then I'm just going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to go into the shade Vintage, which is the lighter green. And I'm just going to tap that onto the lower lash line. And then I'm going to go into Olive. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Chantilly and throw it on the inner corner with my pencil brush. And just give it a little spray. That is probably the coolest shimmer shade in this palette because it definitely has like a green to a yellow to like a pinky purple, so I could even pair with the rosy shadows in this palette, which I think is really cool. Now I'm going to grab another Sigma brush. This is the E45 Max. And I'm going to start off with this dark purpley shade. I'm going to try and do something a little different. I always start with the lightest shadow, so I thought let me start off with the darkest one in that row and see if I can do something a little bit different. I was kind of contemplating doing a halo eye, but I kind of want the two eye looks to match, so I think I'm just going to do a easy kind of everyday grungy look. That is so pretty. And then I'm going to use the next red burgundy kind of shade called Mahogany, and I'm just going to stick that right in with this color. And then I'm going to go into the lighter purpley shade called Venetian, and I'm just going to throw that on the inner corner. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of the two darker shades and amp up the outer corner, and I think a little bit of the black shade called Leather, and I'm just going to really use that to amp up the outer corner because I love a good grungy color story on the outer corner. And then I'm grabbing a flat brush. This is a Sigma brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Applique. So that one. So I use just these three and the black on this eye at the moment. And now I'm going to grab Applique, which is like a really pretty berry shade. And we're going to give it a little spray. I would have used the neutral colors, which is like the middle row, but you guys know, I mean, I like a good neutral, don't get me wrong, but given the three color stories that are in this palette, I had to go for the grungy greens and the really pretty berry tones, so you guys know I had to give you a good overview on those shades versus the neutrals. So I hope you guys don't mind. But man, oh man, if you have been eyeing this palette, so far I'm very, very impressed with it. Okay, so I'm going to take a black eyeliner pencil and I'm going to throw that in the waterline. And then I'm just taking a pencil brush and I'm going to go into the shade called Venetian, which is the rosy shade, the lightest rosy shade, and I'm just gonna smudge the lower lash line. Next shade, Mahogany. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the darkest purple as well and just throw that in the outer corner. So it's a very, very grungy look. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Chantilly, the first shimmery color in the palette. And I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. See, now it's pulling more of that rosy tone, which on this eye, I feel like it pulled more of that golden shade. So it's kind of a chameleon type eyeshadow, so I love that. And the eye looks are done. So now I want to use some of the blushes from the Unearthly collection. I still have it in this giant palette, so let's see here. I think I'm going to use this kind of rosy tone on this side, and then maybe this more peachy shade on this side. So Let's start off with the peachy color. And I'm just using this dirty Sigma brush that I've been using for blush. And I'm just tapping on that really pretty blush shade from Unearthly. They launched these blushes last month, and there's so many gorgeous shades. So if you're considering picking anything up from the Unearthly website, maybe consider trying out some of these blushes as well, because they're super pigmented, and I feel like they have a lot of options even for different skin tones. As you can see, this one's applying very nicely. They both applied very nicely on my skin tone. And then for highlighter, I'm going to use this shade right here. It's such a pretty highlighter. I thought this one would be too light for me, but honestly, I think it looks so stunning on my skin tone. So even if you have a medium complexion and you're like a little bit nervous about that color because it looks like such a light yellowy golden shade, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. As you can see, it's very, very pigmented and you can really build it up. And then I'm just gonna put some on my Cupid's bow, put some on my chin, and then a little bit on the forehead. So yeah, that is the blushes and highlighters from Unearthly as well. And then for a lipstick, I'm going to use this ColourPop Glowing Lip in the shade Museum Date. Such a good color. These Lunar Beauty lip oils are so freaking juicy looking. Highly recommend grabbing one if they're still available in stock. So now I'm going to go ahead, throw on some mascara, grab some earrings, and I'll be right back to tell you guys my first impression thoughts on all of this makeup I just tried. Okay friends, so here are the two finished looks with the Unearthly Leather and Lace palette. Honestly, as I expected, this palette is so nice. I did create two looks with this. I basically used all of the shades on the top row and the bottom row. I did skip the middle row, but I could definitely see myself incorporating those neutral shadows into a eye look. I just think this is a stellar palette. If you have been eyeing Unearthly Cosmetics, but the color stories haven't caught your eye, or maybe you just like this really fun, simple packaging instead of the characters that they sometimes do, this one kind of checks all the boxes as far as a really great grungy neutral palette for me. I'm so grateful that they sent this my way because I think this is a beautiful palette. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's a great workhorse palette. So thank you to Unearthly for sending that my way. I hope that I covered everything that you guys were maybe curious about with this palette. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. That is everything for this video, and I will see you in a new video very soon. Bye guys!